Here, I'm going to call this meeting to order. Sure, big
Go, no.
Any disclosure of pecuniary interest? Hearing none. I need a motion to move the operating budget minutes of February 6th.
So moved.
All in favor? Opposed? It's carried. And the regular minutes of February 13th. All in favor? Carried. In the closed session, Eric camera minutes of February 13th, 2017. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. So I have 3 items pulled from the consent agenda, which are 4.3, 4.7, and 4.8. Are there any? Does anybody else need to pull one? 3, 7, and 8.
I'll move the balance.
All in favor? Okay. So 4.3 was me, actually. So I just, yes, Ms. Bridgman, I just had a quick question about the intended work on Ritchie Avenue. In the report, it said that Ritchie Avenue had been pulled because of work the region will be doing in 2019, so they won't be going ahead with the resurfacing. Is that correct? Correct. So are we still going to go ahead then with the implementation of the traffic calming?
Yes, we are.
And how will that be impacted by the region's work? Replace the, I think it's polybutylene? The water replacement, yeah.
It won't be affected. We've reviewed that with the traffic staff, and it won't be affected. And we've looked at the raised crosswalks. We'll pave up to the raised crosswalks. They won't be affected at all by the region's work or by the work that will take place when Ritchie comes back in.
Do we know approximately how long the work will take for the traffic calming?
Would be guessing that. It would probably take a number of weeks depending on when the contract's awarded and when we mobilize on site.
Okay, thank you. That was my question. So I have a mover, please. In favor? Thank you. 4.7, Councilor Collier.
Thank you, Chair, for you to respond. And just when we're looking at the ice usage, we're at 97%, and I give you a heads up. Just wonder, one, are we turning anybody away? And I wonder what the 13-14 statistics are, whether we're ramping up and getting pretty close to that 100%.
Sure. So through the chair, we are remaining fairly stable. So we fluctuated from about 95 to 98% over the last few years. So we're not seeing huge growth. We're not seeing a decrease like other municipalities. So it's very much a good news story. We're seeing slight fluctuations in some of the usage patterns in terms of the sports that are utilizing the ice. We're not turning away. I mean, always the challenge is the type of the hours that people want. Certainly everybody wants the sweet spot hours, so that can be a challenge in terms of that piece, but overall the ice is performing really well and the group's needs are being served.
Okay, well, because we have the Village Arena, which has probably reached the end of its useful life a long time ago, and the phase 2 of the Audley Rec Center. And I haven't heard any talk of ice at the Audley Rec Center at this point. So I'm just wondering how close are we? That
Right.
Even if we were to go ahead, that may be upwards of 5 years away if we made a decision today. Do we need to be getting that in the works?
So we've always looked at phase 3 as the potential for ice at Audley. Right now, we're holding our own with our 5 pads. Things are going well. The village is still very well utilized. There are those that actually love to play at the village and use the village, so over the ACC. So certainly we're not at a point where we're looking at declining ice rates. So when we look at Audley being a potential replacement for the village at some point, but you're right, that is 5 years out. So we are looking at how do we continue to manage the village in such a way that we can meet all of the ice user requirements.
Well, phase 3 is more than 5 years in. Phase 3 is 10 plus, isn't it?
No.
No? Okay. All right, thank you, Chair.
Anything further? I have a couple questions. It didn't mention how or if it's an increased usage of the new artificial turf field, soccer field.
It didn't, the numbers don't specifically speak to it, but the turf performed at a level of 60% last year. And we have just finished our allocations with the groups. It's on track to do about 75 at this point in time. We've recently brought in Ontario Minor Field Lacrosse, so we're bringing in new sport. We've lined with youth and we're bringing new sport into the community, which is awesome. It sort of fits in and around soccer, and we've had meetings with both groups, so they're collaborating and ready to come in together. So that was a really good news story for the tour as well. So we're set for 75 at this time, and the groups will begin to play when it opens up in April. And once we plan the end of the season, we expect that number to lift higher as well.
Great, thank you. How come swimming pools aren't included in this report?
Traditionally, we've never reported on the swimming pools as part of this, sort of in the last 8 years that I've prepared the report. But we do look at our pools, and I did think about this last week. There are not a lot of, if you treated the pools like an ice surface, I would say you have typical pool use numbers to that of our ice. You know, we've got our clubs in, we've got our programs in, we've got our public programs in, so we did a pre-scan, and if you primed it in a season like ice, you would see similar numbers of at least, at a minimum, 95% usage in the evenings and weekends.
Great, thank you very much. Yes.
Thank you, Through the Chair. That's a quick question. First of all, thank you for resolving that issue with the baseball club up at Audley, and that's generally for I guess for older users of these facilities. Is there some sort of a policy around the rates that they're paying as a result of being there for some time and the increased rates? Like how do we handle that?
We do look at, through the chair, to you, Councilor Archie, we do look at, you know, historically what they paid, and where our rates are now that some of the facilities are at a premium level.
Right.
We do take that into consideration. And you would find as an affiliated local group that's been performing here for quite a while, we do take the rates into consideration, given their history. And some of them have been here for 10 to 15 years too.
Okay. Well, thanks for dealing with that. Appreciate it.
Can I have a mover for that? Favor? Thank you. And the last one, I pulled it, 4.8. I just had a quick question on, or it's not sort of a question as so much as a statement about the changes. I know that you're decreasing the number of public centers where people, traditional, who like to do the traditional go or if they need assistance. So I just wanted to, again, I guess, encourage you to look at the senior centers. I know that you're proposing some changes and you may consider even actually extending those. But it really is important to the seniors in those facilities because a lot of them can't get out and a lot of them do not have computers. So it'd be really great if we could keep sort of the traditional ones that we have in the past. And I see you have a couple more that would make sense too. But just encourage you to do that. That was it. Mover for that. Favor? So, going to you, discussion of one boundary update. Do you have a presentation, please?
Not a presentation, but through you, Madam Chair, I'll just make a couple quick comments before turning it over to members of the committee. We wanted to bring this report before the final recommendations a couple weeks in advance, just to give members of council an opportunity to hear some of the feedback that we got through the public consultation process, and to understand some of the things that members of the public told us as we did the 3 consultation sessions and the feedback survey. We also wanted to take a bit of a second to explain the timeline for how the rest of the project is going to unfold, lay out the next steps that are going to happen and how the town's going to approve its final ward boundaries. For future meetings, we will be bringing the final recommendations to the next Community Affairs and Planning Committee meeting on April 3rd. That will be a public meeting where members of the public will have an opportunity to address the committee, to make any comments they have about our recommendations in terms of which models we'll be putting towards committee that we think have the most merit, and to ask any questions they might have before committee makes a final decision. After that decision is made, the necessary bylaws will go to the April 18th council meeting, and upon their approval, that triggers a 45-day appeal period that will expire on June 2nd. So that's kind of the full scope for this. If we do receive an appeal within that 45-day period, it will go to the OMB, where a hearing will be held and the town will be asked to defend its decision. So if you have any questions as to the results of the public consultations, I'm happy to answer them here. We've raised a couple issues within the report that we'll address in greater detail in the final recommendations as well. There were a couple interesting topics that came out of the public consultations that I think warrant a bit of further discussion, and we'll be addressing those on April 3rd.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Chair. Just one, an observation. First of all, just to see that the numbers north of the 401 were at 54%, which is encouraging because that's historically been a lower turnout in the north. So that was good to see. Looks like option E was not, like none of them were really that far ahead, but option E seemed to be the one that took the lead by a small margin. I think that's the one I preferred as well. I just wonder, I know you have the software, Alex, where you can move things around.
Mm-hmm.
We've always had this issue where the village is split. And I wonder what the numbers would be like if that blue line on the 401 were extended across and that piece of the village formed part of Ward 1.
So through you, Madam Chair, if you recall back in October, we brought many more options to the table to kind of give a bigger picture. And one of the options we did have did exactly as you described. It drew the center ward to directly across Rosslyn Road and Highway 401. And the result of doing that was a center ward that vastly outsized the other wards in terms of population. So we've explored all of those options. Unfortunately, the way option E kind of unfolds is from a horizontal perspective, one of the only designs where the population balance for that representation by population made sense. The other one that kind of did it from the opposite direction is option D, which also made it to the public consultations, but doesn't go quite as far. If there's other designs or ideas that come to mind or that you'd like to see tested, we can certainly test them to make sure we've explored every possible variation or option, just to make sure we've covered all of our bases.
Well, that's my only comment, is that we've always had this kind of division in the village, and this is the first opportunity we have to actually take that away, make it all as one. So that would just be my comment. Thank you.
To add to that, I will say that we've taken that particular piece into consideration and have heard it through the public consultations as well. Our final recommendations do take that into consideration. So when you see the models that we'll be putting on the table, they do consider that. Thank you.
Any further questions? Okay. Motion to receive. In favor? Opposed? It's carried. Thank you. All right. So, are there any departmental reports today? No? Okay. So I need a motion to move in camera. In favor?